Careful what you say or you'll get better.
Woo!
Yay!
That song never gets old. I love it.
I love it. Love it.
Well,
Great
welcome
job,
everybody to another monthly open mic night. I got the luck to draw it, thanks to Kenny. Good evening. It's going to be a good weekend for me. Just a heads up. My daughter came in for the weekend, so I'm going to have a really good time seeing her. I see John's in. What's up, John? Divine Miss Donna. Kenny's in there. Hey, Kenny. It's always good to see Kenny in there. JD, Tiffany, Gregory. I feel like the lady with the romper room thing. I don't know if I'm dating myself, so it's probably not going to be hitting on many people.
Old man.
Bob, nice reference. All right, so it's open night. Open night? Jesus, already. It's open mic night. I found another a lot. I've already started, so
it's gonna be a good night.
Oh yeah, I have a really good poor mic getting opened up from my picture. I thought that was appropriate, but I'm running out of classical surgical pictures, and I'm afraid anything more I might be in the range of a felony. So I'm gonna have to recycle pretty soon. So what's up with you guys? What are you guys doing?
Same old
shit.
Go to work, come home, go to work, come home, do the show. Sit around Sunday and go back to work.
I did get a new addition to my creepy collection.
Ooh, scary.
There it is. Yeah. Plays music.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Like it.
It's not haunted though. That's the thing.
No. It's just a regular creepy doll. That's it. No haunting with that one. Although I didn't have a chance, because we went to the oddities market today, and I have my shirt on that says I collect haunted, possessed, and cursed things as long as they're cheap. Because that's the small print. Because I don't have a big budget, but it was too cold and rainy, so I couldn't actually wear. I had to wear a jacket. I had a hoodie and a jacket on today. That's how cold it was here. Hate that. Hate it.
It's not been a great spring at all.
No, it sucked. Cold, rainy, snow. It's finally getting nice though. I think middle of this week we're supposed to be in the middle 80s, so right from winter to summer again. Crazy.
Yeah. Winter to summer to winter to
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole 80-degree one day and then snow the next day.
Yeah.
Nah, it sucks.
Oh.
All right.
Hey, Hemi. What's up, Hemi?
So tonight's open mic night, right? We're taking questions.
Yes, sir.
So if anyone's
All right,
got
we got one. Hold on.
We already got one.
Yeah, all right. So, JD, questions. I am trying to get a philosopher of science to give feedback for an article I'm writing, but what do you guys think count as having good reasons to believe something?
Good reasons to. Wow, that's a wide net, dude. That's a really wide net. Something. We're talking like religion or ghosts or UFOs or Bigfoot or
I could probably, I guess, as a general term, maybe just some. I don't believe that I should run in the middle of the street during traffic. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that you can have some pretty fundamental basis of safety, I guess. It's something self-preservation, I guess. I'm just trying to really kind of keep it on a very grounded, very bottom line kind of thing. A good reason to have good reasons to believe something. Probably just self-preservation. Other than that, I'm not sure. I can't say anything like I believe in science because it's not really something that you believe in. It's just something you follow and you read and you learn. And when something goes wrong, you change your ideas and your philosophy with it and keep going forward. I don't know. I guess maybe a question would be, maybe we should think of like something pretty general that you could believe in.
It might also depend on what the belief is and how you define belief. I mean, some people think about it a little differently. I mean, you could say the data leads me to believe that this is X, Y, or Z. But as a general belief, what's a good reason for a belief? I mean, I don't know. Your mindset, your worldview, and perception is reality to people. So I think there's most likely a subjective component to it, as much as we'd all like everything to have an objective reason to it. But I guess if you really want to believe in something, you can obviously believe in things yourself, and as long as they influence people or not. I don't know if it's not harmful. I mean, we've talked about this. If it's not a harmful belief, who really cares, right?
Right.
And you're not trying to push it on other people. But I mean, if you really want to think of good reasons to believe something, I would have to say it's got to be probably backed up with logic and data.
I agree. I mean, I think to believe in something, I mean, sometimes you can. I almost have that exchanged with like faith, having faith in someone, or believing in someone. Like I believe that like my friends and family will have my back if something goes wrong. If I'm in bad health, I believe that they're going to help me out. Just as many of them will believe that I'll help them out if they have troubles. That kind of stuff comes with family, and I think that comes with upbringing and how you develop. Because some people just don't give a shit, So you can be taught to believe something, but you stray away from it. If we go into other beliefs, such as religious beliefs, you're taught that, and even non-religious beliefs, but kind of like fringe beliefs, I guess, that would encompass other supernatural kind of stuff. If you're raised that way, if you're raised from a wee lad or lass, I know I'm going international. If you're raised from a little one, taught these things are true, these things really do exist, or this is the way to do it, and that would go into the non-religious kind of thing. Like, this is the way we always did it. Like myths, like you can't go swimming until like a half hour after you eat. That's been shown to be a myth, but we grew up with that, and you're still going to do it. You're still going to follow that, and you believe it because people you trusted told you that. So is that a good reason? I don't know, but that's a justified kind of reason, because like that's the way we always did it, or that's how I was taught. That's how I was raised. So I think, with certain things, a good reason would be subjective, because it's dependent on your believing in family members or friends that taught you on your years growing up. You were taught this, so you adhere to them, and then trying to let go of such beliefs is difficult, because that's your core belief. It's very difficult. I remember struggling because I was raised Catholic, and I'm not trying to pick on religion, so I don't want anything. That's just what popped into my head. But I was raised Catholic, and leaving that behind was difficult because I was so used to it, and there was that base fear, like, what if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
What if I'm fucking up here? But eventually, I decided my own route, or own path to go in life. But with clarifying it, about good reason and to believe in evil spirits, I think that goes back to that, because like for me, growing up, I was taught that there was evil spirits. There were demons. Satan was a real thing. And so that's evil, and that's real. So I grew up with that idea that these things were real, and I believed in them because an authority figure, mom, and then other family members told me with authority that these things were real. So I believed it. So to me, that was a good reason to believe it growing up, until I started getting into more like mythology and history, and then again developing my own ideas. So I guess I don't know if that would be considered good or just a reason. I'm not sure.
I think how the question, how he kind of summed it up right there, really helps me kind of narrow it down, for my thought process anyway. What would you consider a good reason to believe in evil spirits? I don't know about me, but maybe it's a good reason for somebody else, might be a way to explain bad things in their life. If that makes sense. If something terrible or tragic happens by chance or whatever, it's a lot of people fall in this place where they're looking for answers of how to explain something. And I think maybe I don't know if you would say comfort, but maybe psychological comfort, why somebody would believe in evil spirits might be, that would be an explanation of why something evil would happen. If that makes sense. Not only that, but you would also kind of figure, if evil spirits existed and you believed in them, then that would kind of support your idea that good would also, if there's an ultimate good, then that would also support the evidence and the truth that there is something that is totally good as well. So it might bear that, I think, if that's where you're going with that.
Harvey Irwin, psychologist, parapsychologist, spent a lot of time on paranormal beliefs, supernatural beliefs. And one of the hypotheses he had was that past childhood traumatic experiences would feed into part of that, because you would have this belief and you would label something as supernatural and paranormal in order to basically have some control over uncontrollable situations. As long as you can label it and say what it is, that would be justified in developing a belief, a paranormal belief. But of course, within that, you have, what's happened to you in the past, your past experiences, and then the context of the situation. You might have societal acceptance or not of that, especially if you're in a society that believes in evil spirits. So it's going to be a lot more good reason to have a belief in it, if it's correct or not. That's not the point with a belief. If you're talking to people who believe in evil spirits, true or not, if they grow up in a culture that has that, they maybe have some, trauma. They're trying to, or no trauma. I mean, there might be times when there's no trauma at all, but you build that into the context, the culture, your past experiences, your upbringing, and wanting to have some level of control on uncontrollable things or things you don't understand that provide fear, and sometimes you label them and it helps alleviate that. And it's a pretty complex model that he worked out, but it would certainly justify people having those beliefs.
I think you made a really good point I didn't think about, but also a good reason to believe in something would be to fit in with the crowd that you want to fit in with as well, so to be accepted. I think that would be pretty good.
I mean, there's, obviously certain countries and dictatorships where you believe whatever the guy says who's in charge, or you're going to die.
Right.
That's a hell of a reason.
Damn good reason to believe whatever he tells you to believe if you want to survive.
All right. Well, I hope that was pretty good. Here's one specifically for Dave.
Oh no.
Statistics.
Since I know
So
you all
John
love
writes,
math.
since I know you all love math and statistics, I took it twice in college. How do people, Dave understands what that, how do people in the damn it, John, you got to think paraborbal community misuse stats and numbers to make a paper say what they want and not what the author intended?
Oh, I can pick this one apart many ways.
Yeah.
How do people in the paranormal community misuse stats and numbers? One, they don't use stats and numbers. They don't write papers. They make videos and they post it on Twitter and Facebook and say, "Good catch, dude." So the problem is, if you're talking about the paranormal community in general, they don't even use stats and numbers. So that's one problem. The misuse, an example is the book we reviewed a while back, that they didn't really present any stats or numbers, but they pretended to use statistics by saying we had something happen and it was correlated to changes in barometric pressure or EMF. How did you know that? You didn't have any numbers. So they tended to use correlation, which is a statistical function, by saying we watched the little lights on the meters flicker for barometric pressure. And to them, that was a correlation. So I think they misuse that. The other big one I see is when people don't count the misses and they only count the hits. That can go for psychics, EVPs, talking to a fucking flashlight, whatever the hell you're doing. But there's a whole list of things they could do. But I think the fact that they only count the hits and they don't worry about the misses or the other two categories of the 2x2 contingency tables, that's a misuse. But I'm not sure they, you know what, in order to misuse things, you actually need to know what they are and know what they can do to maybe misuse them. And I quite honestly, I just don't see a lot of stats and numbers in the general paranormal community. So I would even go further than that, John, and say that I think the problem is that they don't use it at all. I mean, I have seen a couple groups use it, and some of them, you can tell they have some training and they know something about it, but other ones, they just throw something together and put it up and say, hey, we had, I don't know, 10 EMF spikes here, and 2 of them correlated with an experience, so it's paranormal in nature. That's a total misuse of any type of numbers or statistics. But the summary is I don't think they use them, and that's a problem.
I agree with everything you said because you're much smarter in this area than I am. But I never, I won't say never. I hardly ever, which is like pretty close to never, see paranormal groups use stats or any kind of numbers in their, I guess, publishing of their blog posts or articles or whatever they're putting out. If I do see numbers, it's copy and paste from like a magazine or a clickbait article. Because I also see the headlines, like numbers say everybody believes, or the surveys say this, and the numbers are grossly embellished. But for this kind of question, yeah, I would say that I can't really add too much because Dave covered pretty much everything. So I'm going to shut up and let Tim talk.
I am going to double on exactly what you said about Dave being way smarter than us on this one. That's why I just saw statistics and my mind went, nope, that one's Dave. I don't even know what the fuck the question was. I saw statistics.
You got to differentiate between just numbers and statistics, and math and statistics. Statistics is a certain discipline within math, and it allows you to determine significance and correlations and certain things. Just listing a bunch of numbers is not statistics, unless you do something a little more advanced to see how do 2 things compare, or how does it compare to chance expectation. So it's all about making comparisons and testing hypotheses, and statistics is what helps you do that. I mean, yeah, math, you can be as simple as, 1 flashlight going on and one ghostly experience equals, ooh, I believe. But what is that? It's just a number thing you threw together. It's not really statistics to understand what the correlation was or what type of significance there was.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I thought I had my my shirt on underneath this, but I didn't have my shirt. The one that has the
Tim took his shirt off, realized he didn't have anything on under it. Damn.
had to
All
hide
right.
that really quick. All right. Next up, we have Redman. What would be the top 3 list you guys would love to investigate?
Top 3 list. Oh, I guess locations.
Yeah.
I'll start out with any castle in Scotland, Ireland, or England, as long as I got to stay there for a year. I love castles. I love castles. I love the architecture of castles. I love the thought process that goes into them. Keeps, protection, whatever. I love the architecture of castles.
Tim's throwing that wide blanket again, that wide net. Yeah, just all of Europe.
Yep. Plus, it means I get to go to Europe and hang out.
There you go.
So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of hard. I started thinking about castles, and that's always like my first thought. I would just love it. I would love to stay in a castle for a long time.
I agree with you. I'd say castles. And there's a couple places that I always wanted to that I have gone to and looked into. Ohio State Reformatory, that was a good one. Bachelor's Grove was a good one. And then a place that I was at recently, which I always wanted to visit there and kind of see what was going on just because of all the stories and the reports. Nothing really crazy happened, but I'll talk more about that later. But I would like to find 3 places that nobody knows about, nobody's been to, nobody really has any knowledge of it, where some solid, continuous, strange shit is happening. And I would love to go to those 3 places and spend a lot of time there. So famous places, yeah, I mean, I listed those, but I would like to find that unique place that not everybody knows about, nobody's heard about, and there's actually potentially stuff going on there that's ongoing and fairly good stuff. So once I find those 3 places, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of my caveat was with the time as well. I mean, it kind of sounded kind of tongue in cheek for a year, but like it would be really important wherever it is to spend a significant amount of time to try to get as much of a feel and as much data or evidence as you could collect. I love it. I was waiting on your head to Kenny to flip up and go evidence. What the hell's wrong with you?
Come on.
Yeah.
I think one place I'd love to go is Raymond Hall, famous from the Brown Lady. Just to see the place, because I have floor plans for the place because I recently dug into it. So it's an interesting place I'd love to be able to visit. The Tulip Staircase at the, I think it's the Queen's Naval Museum or something. I forget what it is, but that's the other famous photograph, the Tulip Staircase, where that ghostly figure is going up that spiral staircase. I would love to check that place out because I want to recreate it. Yeah. That's one that I've seen for years and years. Well, actually decades. And I've always wanted to go there just to figure that out. So that would be 2. And then I'm gonna cheat and just say I would love to visit Skinwalker Ranch.
True. Okay, yeah, you're right.
I want to get out there and see it. Not so sure about the security guards armed to the teeth, but I'd still go.
Dragon will get you, man.
I heard you messing with my nickname.
I heard you out there digging.
Bitch.
Don't be digging. Don't be digging.
There
around.
you go. There's my 3.
Those are good ones.
I forgot about the ranch. You're right. That was
I would
good.
that's a good point. I watched the first episode of whatever the hell season they're on now, and watching them thinking yeah, I would like to go there just to see for myself. Is there some
Yeah.
crazy stuff going on? I'd love to spend like a week there, just able to, maybe even set a tent up wherever you want and sleep in a particular area and hang out for the night. So yeah, good call. Good call there.
Cool. Yeah, I mean
All right.
that's always the case, like even when you see these places on TV and in documentaries and stuff like that. I hear myself. I hear my echo.
Mm.
I still want to go. I still want to visit anyway and see. And exactly what you said, Dave. I want to see for myself, and
Mhm.
that's always the intent. Even though I've seen it a dozen times or 100 times, I'm still going to go.
Mhm.
So, all right, I'm done.
Good.
All right, JD. Do you think you should eliminate more plausible explanations as a prerequisite for believing something like evil spirits? That doesn't that presume a certain faith in empiricism and our trust in our senses?
Hmm. Yes, I think you should always try to eliminate all potential plausible or natural explanations
Yep.
before you decide that it's an evil spirit. It's pretty simple. I mean, I would hope you would do that, and never hurts to talk to other people who might be able to help you do that first before you take whatever you experienced or what you're thinking and attribute it to evil spirits.
I think it really has to do with who you're talking to. And I know we've all come across it where these kind of situations, the plausible explanations that might be offered are rejected um, because of they know it's an evil spirit. How many times have we heard that? I know it's a
Mhm.
ghost. I know it's evil. I know this. I know that. I know it's demonic. And I guess it's when you're talking to somebody like that, it's when that pick your battle mentality comes in. It's like, all right, well, I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with this person. So to rule out plausible explanations, you first have to test them. And if you already have somebody that's convinced that there's a demon possessing this house or in this house, you're probably not going to get far because they're already, especially if they're in charge of the team that's doing it, you're out of luck. I don't think you're going to get too far at all. You might just piss them off, which, hey, more power to you. But other than that, yeah, I agree with what Dave said.
Yeah, I want to add like a little something that I do that I like to do is if I come to something that I believe either through going through the process or like I have faith in something that this is what it is, or I have just a general idea that I put a lot of stock into. I like to never ever take off the table that I can be wrong. I don't ever want to be so embedded into an idea or belief that I will remove from the table that I'm wrong. I think that's kind of a dangerous thing. I don't know if that's a personal thing that I kind of went through growing, like Kenny had talked about. I think we both came up in Catholicism, but there are some people that want you to remove the complete plausibility and possibility that you are wrong in this, and I don't like that. So I'm not saying like like it's a huge piece of the table that I keep there and I'm always like scared that I'm wrong, but I just don't want to ever remove that I could be wrong.
I
So
think there's that, I wouldn't say balance, but transition period where like you're so confident. Like, all right, personal anecdote. When I was a ghost hunter and like fully into it, I knew I was right. I was not wrong, and I refused to accept it. Like you told me I'm wrong. Fuck you. We're going at it. Um, and then you get into that phase where you realize, oh shit, I was wrong, and you might have those little steps where you're embarrassed, so you try to hide it. You don't tell anyone because you don't want anyone to know. You delete website pages or posts and stuff because you don't want people to see it anymore. And then you gradually you're still afraid. You're afraid of being wrong. What else am I wrong about? So you're afraid and you're cautious. But then you get into this other phase where you're like, all right, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's cool. You know,
Yeah.
like, thank you. Tell me I'm wrong and show me how I'm wrong, and then I'm better for it. So there is no fear left of being wrong. Like, I still hate it, and when I am wrong now, it's not a matter of hiding things or trying to cover it up. I actively go back and try to apologize to the person that I was in the debate with. You know, I'll go back. Like, I was wrong. Quick anecdote. I was at a flea market and a vendor was telling somebody about cables, computer cables, monitors, and they're talking about a certain cable, and they're like, "Oh, it supports 8K and this and that." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think so." And I spoke up. I said, "I don't think so. I use them at work. They don't support this and that." And the guy's like, I know. I work on computers, blah, blah, blah." And I mean, we didn't argue, but we just disagreed. And I walked away, and then I looked it up and realized I was wrong. And it bothered me so much that I had to go back. I went back to the vendor. I apologized to him. I shook his hand and said, "I'm sorry, you were right. I looked it up. I was totally wrong. So lesson learned. Now I know better. So thank you." And then moved on. So I think that's where we get to in that point where now it's not a fear of being wrong. It's acceptance. It's cool. Look at me.
Yeah, it does get easier. You're right. That is a strange transition, but it does. I remember the exact same thing. Just absolutely believing, I have this wonderful piece of evidence that proves there's a ghost, and it gets questioned hard. And then you kind of go in remission, and you don't you don't throw it around so much anymore, but you still want to believe it. At some point, you just begin, hopefully you begin questioning yourself and what you have. But it does get easier to say you're wrong. And I don't know why, but it's kind of even fun. It's at this point for me to go, yeah, I fucked up. Sorry. I did. And I think, I guess another personal anecdote for you guys, but you guys know this about what's happened is, one of the last presentations I ever did at a Paracon was a history of my ghost hunting days and everything I did wrong. Needless to say, I was not asked back.
That's because you listed everything everybody in the audience has done.
Yeah,
still do.
Yeah, but
like, what a dick.
yeah. I started from like ghost hunt number 1 when we chased a freaking orb through a cemetery using infrared. The cameras, the high 8s. Yeah, the high 8s. Remember those? Yeah.
Did you catch that lightning bug that night, Tim, or did you let it go?
Yeah, it was a lightning bug. So, but I like that. Like, I like that because I thought at the time it would have been very informative. And plus, I was hoping that if I can say, man, I did this completely wrong. I was so wrong with this. I like the idea of saying it out loud and letting people know that when you go in front of a bunch of people and say, I was wrong, I made a huge mistake, this was not the way to do it, and you live, then maybe other people can say that they were wrong on something and they'll live too. It's not so horrible. But I was not asked back. I've not been asked back. They weren't pleased with that.
Too bad. Yeah.
So quickly for Ms. Devine, my Starlink service is really good so far. Yeah, I have the dish in a temporary location, and so it's rather obstructed. So I'm not going to test it on trying to stream live tonight, especially since I'm hosting. But it's been running Netflix. I've gamed on it. Everything's good. So I would highly recommend it for anybody that has shit internet or no access to internet.
Awesome.
I don't know. Ooh, can I get in trouble for that? Or do we get paid for that advertisement?
Elon,
if Elon would like to buy our program for a couple $1 million, we're good with that.
There's my there's the router. Yeah, it's right behind me. All right, let me go through. Oh, my cat. Trying to climb up my leg. I was like, don't do that.
Free will.
Here we go. Oh, free will. I've been watching that in the comments going, oh, geez. Please don't.
Like, what? Oh, my God, they're still debating.
That is I don't even think I would steal that as a topic idea. Question from Redmond: how would you go about defining what you want to do or accomplish on a given investigation? That's a great question. Because I think that is an important question, and a question that probably a lot of people don't ask. What the hell what are you trying to actually accomplish? What are you trying to actually measure? What are you trying to actually do? And that is a fantastic question. That's good. I would guess for me, it would just depend on where I'm going and what the claims are. I think probably mostly all three of us. I don't think I'm going to speak out of turn, but I certainly have given up the chase for the ghost. I'm not going to catch the ghost. So what I can do is I can look at claims, and I can test claims if they're testable. So if I'm going somewhere to do an investigation, it's probably not really an investigation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and try to look and see if I can replicate a claim, or try to look at what some plausible or some probable causes for that claim are. All right.
Next.
You get it.
Awkward silence.
Sorry, my cat is trying to claw its way up my leg, and I'm just like, I'm over here like, please don't. Everybody's going to hear me scream like a ghost.
So yeah, I'm along the same lines. I mean, my investigation, when I investigate a place, I'm not investigating a place per se. I'm investigating claims that they're making. The people that either live or work there or have visited there before. I'm taking their claims that are testable and creating tests. Like, what can I do to test that experience? And let's do it. Let's look at the area too and see if there's any clues as to what might create an effect, like a visual effect or an audio effect. Or one place I went to recently, there was ample opportunity for animals to get into the crawl space under the house and cause all kinds of havoc. I mean, causing smells, causing scratching noises, knocks maybe. Also opens it up to airflow throughout the house, because the air coming in from the crawl space had open access into the rest of the house. So if you have, like some of us have bedroom doors or interior doors that are not solid front doors, you're going to have that air pressure changing and doors opening and closing or slamming shut, stuff like that. So that's the type of investigation I do. I don't do the stakeout. That's what I call ghost hunts, where I'm just sitting there waiting for something to happen. I'm actively looking for reasons for things that were claimed to happen. So what do I want to accomplish? I want to solve the mystery. If somebody says that I heard scratching noises in this room, if somebody says I saw a shadow cross the room in this room, if somebody says I saw or I heard a distinct voice in this room, I'm looking to solve that mystery. How did that happen? And whatever the data leads, that's what I'm going to go with. So sometimes I'm left with, I don't know. I don't have enough information. So
perfectly fine.
Yeah. Write down all your notes, have all your data in place, written down, typed up, whatever, put it in your file. And then when you go back, you open the file again. Let's say if we get new information, we open the file and we add that new information. We'll see what we can find. So that's how I would define it.
Yeah. And that's great stuff. And it has to be done. I think the other part of that, or the next step in situations like that, is understanding why people interpreted it as paranormal.
Right.
So looking at the psychology, their makeup, their belief system, and there's all kinds of different validated question sets that they use to understand why people might interpret certain things and attribute them to a paranormal cause. So that's another part of it. But once you let's say you rule that out, you figured out what's going on, and maybe you might be left with a couple places that you don't know. That's where I think you get into the stuff where you start trying to understand what in the environment and what in the psychology or makeup of the person is allowing them to have experiences and seeing and interpreting them as paranormal. So, I mean, you're looking at anything from cues in the environment, to lighting levels, to air quality, temperature, infrasound, potentially electromagnetic fields, geomagnetic fields, things that your body may actually perceive as ambiguous stimuli, and it doesn't know what to do with those things, but in the proper context, you're going to interpret it or think it might be paranormal in nature. So I would say, defining what you want to do or accomplish, it's everything Tim and Kenny said. But if you're looking for, like, I'm at the point now where I'm doing research projects where it's like, why do people go to certain places and have these experiences or interpret them as paranormal? So looking at everything from the psychology belief all the way through the environment and what's going on in the physical environment and what people might be experiencing and interpreting as paranormal. So I think you really, any place you go to, you need to, the basic thing is to define what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. I mean, I'm kind of answering your question with words from your question, but that's a good point. I mean, the thing I recently did, we had a specific reason to go to this place, and we had a specific plan, and we had data we wanted to collect, but we had no preconceived notions on what that should look like or what it should be. So once we got it, now we're going through it and taking a look at what it says, and then matching it up against the other published literature and seeing how it fits in.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I that was a good question.
Very good question.
I'd also add, it kind of piggybacks off what you're saying there, Dave, is that you're also easing the fears of the people that live there sometimes. I don't want to go as far as to say we're there to help people, because I've heard that so many times and I cringe at it. But
I used to do that.
Yep.
So did I. So did I. I mean, yeah, I'm embarrassed about it, but yeah, I did. But if you can go in, if somebody, especially, I guess, with us, people like us, if they're calling us and saying, hey, can you come take a look at this? They already know we're not just your stereotypical ghost hunter. We're not going to go in. We're not TV show people where we're like every little sound, a cricket scratches its back and it's like, oh shit, it's a fucking demon. We're not like that, but we're going to take a logical approach and try to figure out what's going on. So if I'm going in there, it's to find reasons, and also to say, hey, you know what, that door closing, that's a perfect example, because I've come across that a lot. That door closing is because you have a big gap in your windows, and you're getting air in. And if we stay in here during a windstorm or when there's good breezes out, we can watch that door go back and forth. It's not a ghost. It's not a spirit. It's not somebody trying to trap you in here. This is something natural, and we can demonstrate it. And I think that, especially being able to not only explain it in detail, but demonstrating something like that, I think it puts them at ease, because now they're seeing it as, okay, all right, maybe it's not a ghost. Maybe it's just, maybe I was jumping the gun here. Okay, good. And that's been my experience, not all the time, but most of the time, when I can actively not only explain it, but demonstrate it to them, it eases their fears. And they don't no longer, have trouble sleeping or being in that room because they think it's haunted. So, I mean, that's not that really doesn't go with the question. Well, it kind of goes with the question. That's like a subplot, I guess. My main goal is to solve the mystery. And then it's just an extra perk that it gets to ease the fears of the people that live there.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I've consulted. I love that word. I consulted with you two before on cleaning up ghost hunting teams' messes from going somewhere and telling them they have a demon, and yeah, not good. Okay, John's got another one. Here we go. Have any of you been or considered checking out the haunted recording studio in Hollywood called The Mansion? Corey Taylor from Slipknot wrote about it in his book. I didn't even know about it. So
yeah, that's my answer too. I didn't know about it, so that'd be a no, but sure. I mean, I Heck, I'm always interested in checking out a place somebody says is haunted, and if it's a recording studio, hell, I'll pack up the keyboards in the background, and I can get a little free time in the studio for professional recording. I'll trade them for some, investigation for some recording time.
There's
Yeah.
Dave making.
And here's a good question:
Time.
if you're in a recording studio and all these people, these paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, claim to get EVPs, how come they're not getting them in that studio, or are they?
Ooh. Why don't we have?
It's the highest quality equipment you could have to record some mysterious voice.
Yeah, and I mean the soundproof booths. I mean you're not getting outside noises. You're getting anything that's in that room.
Right.
So that'd be perfect.
And can you auto tune a ghost voice? I don't know, but I'd like to find out.
That would be good.
Yo, now I can see some psychic or medium putting out a CD or an album. Like, oh, these are ghost voices that I channeled. Shit.
Yeah, my cat's a little possessed, so it's kind of cool. She's all right. She picks the worst times to come over and claw my leg or use it as a scratching post.
Does your cat have a little Mississippi leg hound in it, Tim?
I'm even scared to even question what that means. That's new to me.
We'll talk about that in the chat.
Okay.
That's an after show.
Ooh, got one for Kenny. Kenny, I found an old video of you on YouTube demonstrating the Connect box in your living room. You sure had a lot of empty liquor bottles on that table. Do you really drink that much?
An old video, a lot of liquor bottles. Well, first, yes. No.
That's an underestimate based on the number of bottles.
That was after he cleaned up.
No. We do host parties, and I have a bar that's out back. We do have a big tiki bar, so I usually bring in, like when we're not doing parties, I bring in all the alcohol, and then we sort the bottles and put it in a cabinet. But I'd have to look at that to see what it is, but no, I do not drink that much. I honestly, I drink just during this show and my Friday night show. That's pretty much it. I don't drink any other time because I have too much to do. But thanks for noticing.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate that.
So, question, Redman, from Redman. Would you consider doing a show and discuss how to go about solving sounds, visual, etc., concerning claims?
Yes.
That's a good topic. Let me write that down.
Yeah, write it down.
3 weeks from now, that'll be Tim's show.
Yep.
Actually,
Well,
that
that's a
one
good
probably
idea.
wouldn't, because that is both. That sounds like that's more in Kenny's wheelhouse, much more in Kenny's wheelhouse than mine.
I think that'd be a good show, actually. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah.
Informational and fun. Yeah.
I mean, and we could actually extend it out and say, hey, if you have examples, send them in to us, and we can do like a show where we're actively analyzing either audio clips or photos or videos, stuff. Like take one of each and just demonstrate how we would go through it. That'd be fun. I'd like that.
Yep.
It would be fun. I just shared a pretty good audio illusion with you guys today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just the brain filling in what it remembers, and maybe we'll save that for the show. That was a pretty good one.
That's good. I had that TikTok video that I shared of the tunnel.
God, that tripped me out. Like I swore that was a hole.
You know what? I saw a thing of water first.
Yeah.
I didn't see the hole. I saw a puddle of water with no wind or anything. I saw that first. Then I'm like, why the hell are they so intrigued by this? The more I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, so it looks like a big hole in the road too. But for me, it was really weird because I saw the puddle of water first. It was weird.
I'm looking at it because I'm looking at it on my phone. So to set it up, if anybody hasn't seen it, it's a TikTok video. Guy's on his phone. He's in his car. He's outside of a tunnel, a lighted tunnel. It's at nighttime, and it kind of looks like there's this big hole in the left lane. Like it just the street just dropped out and it's gone. and then like a car drives past them, and the guy's like, "Oh, here we go," and the car drives by and actually like stops.
Yeah,
And
that's when
goes
I was
slow,
like,
and then another car comes down and changes lanes real quick. But as it passes, it disturbs the water. It's standing water. That's what it is, and it's reflecting. It's a perfect reflection of the tunnel. And my first thought when I saw it was not that there was a hole, but why did they put a wall up in this hole? Because it's a perfect reflection of the painted wall at the far end. I'm like, why would they build that wall all the way down? That's weird, but I guess so. I don't know. They should really put barriers up.
it was a really good illusion.
It was really good, yeah. All right.
And I listened to that guy go, oh, when that car spun around, I was like, holy shit, he's going to go in. Oh, here we go. Does the energy rule apply to this show?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a standing rule.
It always applies. It even applies when we're not doing the show.
Oh, yeah. True.
I find, do you guys do this? Like, well, I mean, I go to a lot of conferences and paranormal stuff, and somebody says energy. I can't help it. It's automatic. No. Drink. Oh, wait, not doing a show. Drink anyway.
Yeah, no one else here understands.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So I just, luckily I'm out.
Thanks,
it's
Donna.
typically in the, Donna wants to see me drunk. Pretty close. So I have to ask, maybe at some point someone, this whole free will thing on the chat room is really interesting. And it's funny because it looks like it came from your show.
Yes.
Last night.
Yeah. We got into a philosophical discussion, and it should have been an entire show itself, even more. I mean, because we started going back and forth between like talking about free will, and if free will is really free will, and it was fascinating, but it was one of those where I knew this was like, we're on the edge of a canyon here, and I don't want to go down this.
No, yeah,
like a rabbit hole, because we have other things to talk about. But yeah, and the chat room last night was going crazy with it, and yeah, it spilled over into tonight, which is awesome.
I put in there for people to one of the things that really blew my mind and put me down a rabbit hole was the quantum mechanics and free will. And I am not a physicist. I'm certainly not on board with quantum mechanics. I try to read it and I try to catch up, but that was some of the best reading I've ever done, and it actually kind of changed my idea about free will quite a bit. On just reading about quantum mechanics and free will, it was really good. So I would recommend. I'm looking at that. I had also advised to, when you do that, take a week off from work, because you're fucked. Basically, you're just going to be reading all the time. You're going to have notes written on your walls in ink and chalk and paint and whatever you can find. You'll just go nuts with it. What do I think? What do you think? I think that it's a show all by itself. But
honestly, think about free will. Jesus. This is a real. We're almost at an hour. You got to bring this up now. What the hell, Red Man?
I will defer for another show. I could probably sum it up very quickly and what I learned from that, and then let it go from there. But that's it. What do I think? Do we have free will? It may be enough to say I don't know. I was a strong proponent of yes, we do. But then after reading that with quantum mechanics, I was like, now I'm not sure. That's where it put me. So I don't know.
I think free will is a man-made concept, as well as the other arguments against and for free will are also man-made concepts. So I don't know. I don't know.
This is
something I'd have to study up on, because I mean I can give ideas and I can give like opinion just literally off the very top of my head because I just started thinking about it. But that's something I would like to get into. I mean, if we could do a show on this. I think we should do a show. Just maybe. I see you guys like Dave's like, oh fuck.
That's a big fucking topic.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Just know if we did,
It would be a good show. It would be a good show. I mean, I don't think I really have an opinion either way on it. I just don't. I haven't really done enough reading or thinking about it. I guess maybe it's my free will to choose not to do that. I don't know, but it's a tough concept, and I think we'd probably have to devote a couple shows to it.
I'll just say I do what I want to do. There you go. If you want to throw your excuses and stuff, like how do you know you're doing what you want to do? I do what I want to do. There you go.
Just I'll sum it up with what was that? Honey Badger don't give a shit. Honey Badger does what it wants. Here's my definition of free will. But no, I think that'd be a good show to look into. Yeah.
I think we would definitely need some very qualified guests for that one.
Yeah.
Because it's really, that's probably out of, I mean, it's fun to have an opinion. It's fun to debate. It's fun to talk about. I really enjoy it, but it's probably out of my league for sure.
We need an actual philosopher. we need a real one. So
yeah,
somebody would give insight. All right.
All right. Well, we are at an hour, so for that, I didn't see. I'm pretty sure I caught all the questions. And less alcohol on the Free Will Show? No.
No,
I'll probably need a lot.
Donna, don't be infringing on our free will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've caught everything. I'm pretty sure I starred everything. And I appreciate all the questions. They're really good. I actually enjoyed the questions. They were good. I think using my free will, I will call the end of the show.
Or are you? Maybe
Am I?
Maybe my mind over matter abilities are affecting you.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I made a statement. Did I miss a Q? Oh, an S.
S.
Oh, I just looked for Q's. Well,
Yeah.
hold on. Early in the show. Can I go all the way back?
Can you go all the way back? I don't know.
Here, let me see if I can.
Oh, here it is. Well, I don't know how I missed it. Look at that.
There we go.
An S. Okay, so I am going to prove to you that orbs are ghosts. I said already. That's a big hurdle. So you're here we go. Q, biddle, eye roll, and exasperation. What are orbs, or what can they be? Dust, right? I don't like that. The claim with the question right after makes me question the claim. And what is dust made of? Dead skin cells. Dead skin cells. So part of you that has died is floating around the air. It's dead and floating, hence a ghost. Orbs are dead people. Okay, Kenny, you can unfriend me now.
That's some solid ass logic there, Bob.
click, delete. Oh,
that's good.
Dust, yeah. I mean,
and there's more to dust than just
orb. There's actually journal articles on fucking orbs. People have gone and done research projects to show what orbs could or could not be. There's entire books written on that.
Yeah, I have one that I hate, but I still have. I can't see it. The Orb Project, called the Orb Project, and I think that's the first book that I actually threw across the room when I read. The opening page, I think, says that they were going to prove that orbs were real, and they decided to start taking pictures on a good day when it was raining hard outside. And they went outside and took pictures out back with a flash during the rain. And that was their proof. And that was it. I remember throwing the book.
I think there's a couple articles. I can't remember it's either the Journal of Scientific Exploration or Society of Psychical Research. They did a couple of articles. They published a couple articles on orbs, and then the Association for the Scientific Study of Anomalous Phenomena. They have a whole, I think, web page on orbs and the orb zone. They call it the orb zone theory.
Orb zone.
Hypothesis, but they talk about how when certain things get, a certain distance from the lens with the flash, it illuminates and you get orbs. And they did a really nice job with dual cameras, two perspectives of showing how, what you would think if it was a paranormal origin and it was really there and it wasn't dust or something else in the orb zone, you should see it on both cameras. And that just, it never works out that way. So, I mean, obviously, yeah, dead skin cells, lint, dust, pollen, bugs. I mean, there's raindrops. They can all lead to you thinking that there's a orb on your video camera or your still camera.
A few years ago, well, many years ago, my buddy Mitch Silverstein, I saw him at an event. I think it was the first time I met him at Fort Mifflin, and he brought at the time, 3D cameras were kind of like the rage, and this was still film. So he went around the fort and took pictures, different places, and that was his idea. Like, all right, so this has two lenses, spaced evenly apart. I think it's spaced, the average distance that your pupils are apart, to get that 3D effect. And the idea is that, well, if an orb was real and it was floating in free space, like a good distance from the camera, not like an inch from the lens, then it would show up in both frames, because you get the two pictures and then had to actually overlay them in software. But he went around, he got maybe a dozen or so pictures where an orb showed up in one side but not the other. So that was really cool. I wanted to recreate that, but I never got around to buying a 3D camera.
Yeah, I think Lloyd, when I talked to him one time, it was a long time ago, but he described an experiment I think he was involved with. I don't think he ever published it, but I'll have to ask him to give me a rundown on it again. But I vaguely recall he said he had people who believed in orbs and those who didn't believe in orbs. And they went up to the same camera in the same location and took pictures. And the people that believed in orbs got more photographic anomalies of orbs than those that didn't. So he was arguing, well, if it's not dust or something natural, then perhaps it's a mind over matter thing, where if you believe strong enough, you're somehow causing them to appear on the camera. But I haven't seen him publish it anywhere, and I don't remember the details. But it's an interesting concept. So you get to the point of, even if it isn't dust, it might be something that you yourself is creating, and there's no association or correlation with ghostly activity.
Cool.
Yeah.
How do we get on fucking orbs?
I don't know.
Damn it, Bob.
That's another whole show. We could just bitch for an hour and a half.
Is there a line where organisms no longer survive that? Is there afterlife for bacterium? Afterlife sounds too populated. If
there's a line, what causes the line of life that gets into the afterlife? Wow.
I think pretty much when they can't revive you, you're dead. I mean, there's clinical definitions, there's medical definitions. And I think we were going back and forth with JD on some of that when we were talking about zombies.
Yeah.
We get some back and forth with JD too. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. I learn a lot.
And how you could, some doctors in some countries can maybe, I guess, how would you say it? Misdiagnose death. Well, they sound dead, but a couple days later, I guess they weren't. My bad.
Yeah, they used to put bells on the coffin for that.
The interesting thing with that, though, is Dr. Sam Parnia, with his near-death experience research and cognition while you're in a compromised state, heart attack, myocardial infarction, he seems to be pressing the limit of when, blood flow ceases and you think brain activity is starting to wind down, or it shouldn't be able to have perceptions, sensory perceptions. They're finding that it's a lot further down after the heart stops than we thought, which is nothing paranormal. It's just, hey, there's more to it than that. And he also argues that because we're able to resuscitate people more frequently now because of technology, and the time between when their heart stops to when you can resuscitate them becomes longer and longer. It's a lot better for people that you're going to be able to better understand these type of experiences and what's going on and what that line is between life and death. It's interesting stuff.
Interesting. Huh? Cool. Yeah.
So it's either got to be a pee break or the end of the show. I'm not sure because I've downed a whole pot of coffee filled with a lot of liquor.
Technically, I think we're out of questions, so you can wrap it up there, Tim.
Yeah,
We will wrap it up. Yeah, I
Hurry
won't.
up, wrap it up.
I will free will. Won't be accepting any more orb questions. So
That orb chooses not to answer those questions.
the orb chooses you. Yeah.
Oh,
So for me, I saw a question in there about me and Dave, or Dave and I, or Dave and me, that we were maybe at some point going to team up together and have more events than Kenny.
That will never happen.
It'll never happen.
never going to happen.
Never happened. But I do a show every Saturday night with two friends. I get pretty intoxicated from time to time, have a good time, make a fool of myself, which is always fun. Always great that I document for eternity how much of a fool I make. So at least I'm with these guys when I do it. So next Saturday, same time, 8:00, I'll be on this channel with you guys.
Nice.
Dave?
All right. Check out some of the other stuff that Jen and I work on our website, espsi.center. A lot of good stuff there. We also do side chat. There's some old episodes there. I know we keep saying we're going to do more. We just got to find some freaking time to do it. And then, of course, Citizen Edge Science. Check that out if you'd like to participate in some pretty cool research. That would be the way to do it. You don't really, need to know anything. The people running it are doing training sessions and a couple meetings here and there to get you trained up and learn what you need to know to do this. So check it out. Good stuff. And then, of course, yes, the show with Tim and Kenny on Saturday nights. Love it and look forward to the next one.
Awesome. So first and foremost, happy Mother's Day to everyone for tomorrow.
Yes.
That is a mother or a motherfucker.
Well, there you go. To you two. Happy Motherfuckers Day.
There you go. I had to ruin it. So upcoming things. Every Saturday night I do this show, which is awesome. I love having these discussions. It's just so much fun. Bouncing ideas off you guys and getting different takes on it. Next week every Friday I do Skeptical Help Bar, 8 p.m. Eastern. Next week I'm going to have a guest on. His name is Christopher Grace, and he is a mentalist in Salem, Massachusetts. He does a really cool show that combines mentalism and magic and skepticism. So he's going to come on. I talked to him a little bit, and he's going to come on and talk about a show and magic and some of the stuff. It's going to be cool because we talked about some of the things he does during his show to make people understand the perspective of both a skeptical side and a paranormal believer side in the same show with the same example. So it's actually going to be really cool.
Cool.
So with that, let's see, coming up next month, I'm going to go to a secret location, which I can't tell you at all. I just want to tease you a bit. What else I got? July 16th, I'm a speaker for Skeptical, which is an online conference for the skeptics in California. I forget the name of their place. So if they're watching, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do a half-hour talk with them. And then coming up in August 19th is the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, which you guys will both be at. So yes, you do have another event. We'll be there. We have a booth. We'll be set up. We'll be broadcasting. We'll be causing trouble. I'm sure we're going to have people pissed off. So that's going to be fun. And then the last thing I have is October 20th to 23rd is SciCon in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'll be out there. I'm going to speak on something. Actually, I know what I'm speaking about. I just have to figure out what I'm going to say. But I'll be on the big stage. So if you're interested and you have the means, I highly suggest it because it's not just a skeptical conference. I want to make that clear. It's a science conference. So you have people from all different fields coming in and giving lectures on their expertise and their life's work and stuff. And most of it has nothing to do with paranormal. So it's all kinds of sciences, which is really fun. I mean, I'm stuck there with a notebook and a recorder pretty much all 4 days, and just learning and loving it. So,
Cool.
but that's it. That's all I got so far, which is enough.
All right. So, the last thing, the only things left is for me not to screw up the closing. Not that I've ever done it at all. But I want to wish everybody again, just like Kenny, wish everybody happy Mother's Day.
Yep.
Have a great
Happy
day
Mother's
tomorrow.
Day.
But my daughter's in again just to come in for that. So we're going to go visit family. Have a great day and do some cookouts. So we'll see. Oh, who's up next? Yeah, it's not me. So who did the ranch?
That was me.
So I'm up.
Dave's
Yeah.
up.
I got a week off.
So thanks everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back
Take it easy.
next week.
Don't for Charles, don't for Charles, don't for Charles, with the real, ghost with the D, with the real, Bigfoot is real, don't question me, Dave is about, Dave is out, Dave is about, ghost everyone, I'm on TV, don't for Charles, don't for Charles, don't for Charles, don't for Charles. And all that you say, oh, you'll get to bed.